No, this is not the new Nikon Zf. I'm not that cool. Hi, my name is Caleb. I'm a boudoir photographer based in Bend, Oregon, and I've been shooting exclusively on a Fuji X-T3 for about the last 8 months. Before that, I was shooting on a Canon EOS R, but unfortunately, I blasted through that camera's shutter, and the Fuji has worked well enough for me to not really feel like needing another camera. Initially, I bought my X-T3 as just kind of a for funsies camera. Something to play with the film emulation modes and something to just kind of add a little bit of fun and a little bit of tactile feel to my photos. Because modern mirrorless cameras can feel a little soulless, and I know that has no bearing on image quality or the photos that you get out of it, but it does make the experience of being a photographer a little bit more fun. Now that being said, there definitely have been some drawbacks to my Fuji. I do have to work a little bit harder to get the image quality that I want, and I can't do as much with the low light performance. No matter how good the tech gets, it's still an APS-C sensor. It's smaller than a full frame sensor. And you just kind of miss some of those qualities of life with full frame. So when I saw that Nikon was announcing the Zf, I was like, oh, am I gonna switch to Nikon? Let's go over some of the basic specs in case you haven't seen any of the roundup. So the Zf's body is based off of the Nikon FM2. It's got the same 24 megapixel sensor as the Z6 II, has really good in-body image stabilization, which Metapixel talked about this really cool feature where you can choose where the center of the ibis goes, which is really cool. It has a cool like dedicated black and white switch, so you can just easily switch into black and white mode. And apparently the autofocus is about on par with the Z8, and it has like all the video features you'd want, 4K, 60, all that good stuff. And so it is on par with all of the full frame mirrorless cameras of 2023. It's coming in at the price of $2,000-ish, and a couple hundred more if you want that cute 40mm lens with it. But why would somebody want like a vintage styled camera? I mean, we've got like 50 more years of handling and ergonomic development, right? But to me, and I think a lot of other photographers, there's just something fun and something classic about holding a camera like this. Something that kind of connects us to photographers past and kind of makes us feel like we aren't in this technical revolutionary world where things can still be minorly imperfect and beautiful. Like on my old EOS R, rest in peace, I could rattle off several technically beautiful eye autofocus photos in a second, and they're fantastic. But that user experience is kind of boring. The camera itself isn't something beautiful to look at. And I know it's a little artsy-fartsy woo-woo, but I do think that there is something to the idea of making something beautiful with something beautiful. And I know it's not for everybody, and that's okay. But for me, for the style that I shoot, for kind of my slower pace, I just really like shooting with a vintage feeling camera, with the aperture rings, with all of the dials. It just kind of connects me back more to the camera and grounds me more in it, so I can communicate best with my clients. Now, I don't have much experience with Nikon, although actually my first real camera was a Nikon. I had a Nikon D40. I actually got really cool pictures with it, although I only have them in like Facebook compression anymore because I did not keep track of my pictures very well. So will I pick up a ZF and switch over to Nikon? I'm not sure yet. I'll probably rent one once they're out. But honestly, I just love how more camera manufacturers are embracing the history of photography in their designs. Now all we need is a digital medium format TLR. Who's gonna step up and make that? Anyway, thank you for watching. These have been my brief thoughts about the new Nikon Zf, as someone who is a Fuji shooter and as someone who is a huge fan of retro-styled cameras. Be sure to subscribe here on the channel. Follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Patreon. I'm about to upload a whole bunch of cool new photos that I took on a whole bunch of different film stocks. So we'd love to see you over there, and we'll see you next time. Perfect. I love that. Okay, then look here. Oh, that's perfect. Then look up real, real high. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Yep.